What is it about Dungeons and Dragons? To me, it brings out the do-it-yourself aspect in many of us. Sure, there are staunch supporters of grab a module and run it vanilla. No rules tweaks. If it's rules is written, then it's good enough for them. For others, the shaping and crafting of our own, well, fill in the blank, it's all they know. For some of us, dare I say many of us in this hobby, are punk rock in nature. The epitome of do-it-yourself, homebrew, craft your own, paint your own, map your own, society of geeks, metalheads, and genuine nerds. I've worked rather hard on putting together my own West Marches themed D&D campaign. Before we get into the meat, here's a quick message from DM Zoth.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload, and join the conversation over at the Agranak Cult Discord.
Here is how I have prepared for my West Marches style game called Castle Agranak. It started with Keep on the Borderlands. I knew I wanted something similar. A keep or castle that had everything the characters would need or want for adventuring, quote, out there, unquote. More than that, I wanted it to feel homely, safe, and always welcoming. Something I'm not good at as a DM. I always want to insert some sort of drama. So this is a personal challenge I'm putting on myself. I had this idea for the setting of the castle, and I sketched out this dragging cliffside overlooking a valley. It's crude, but this is what started it all. On top is a castle, and it was much like the keep from Keep on the Borderlands. But I wanted there to be a proper town, so I expanded it, and then expanded it more, until I came up with this. Before I drew this map, I had to figure out what I wanted in the town of Castle Agranak. I started with some leadership, a castellan, marshal, mayor, and a wizard. Let's go over how I laid out the NPCs. I had an initial way that I had laid out the NPCs, and I didn't really like it. And I was talking with one of my Patreon supporters, Coyote, and he had a really nice streamlined NPC layout. So I added either some or all of those elements and then added in some other things that I wanted to see, and so this is what I landed on. This is Cuthbert Huxley, the Castellan, a middle-aged human man with long chocolate brown hair that is peppered gray, and a well-groomed beard. He has a clockwork right arm that Piggy made for him. She's a gnome tinkerer. He lost the appendage fighting in a great war for the Obrish army. So I laid out the PCs with 5, 6, 7 different bullet points. The first one here for Cuthbert is his bearing. He's lawful neutral. He's understanding, forthright, and direct. He looks people in their eyes and tries to connect with those he speaks with. Speech is subdued, gruff voice, Obrish. And Obrish to me is like the UK sort of accents, from Cockney to Yorkshire and even Welsh. Quirks looks intently into a person's eyes when they speak or when he is speaking to them. Desires to maintain the safety and security of Castle Agranak at all costs. Secrets is addicted to gambling. Family, Landon, 12-year-old son, and Githa, 7-year-old girl. There are 4 different leaders. It's Cuthbert Huxley, which is the Castellan, Sorsha Luella, the Marshal, Clive Holt, the Mayor, and Nilrem, the Castle Wizard. Next were the businesses, and I wanted at least one NPC associated or able to be interacted with for each business. I'll go through one, and then I will just kind of rattle off the rest of the businesses and the NPC name associated with it. Piggy's Tinker Tent. Located just inside the castle walls at a multicolored canvas tent. A bit of a messy workshop, The tent has been fined for unsightliness in the past. Various gadgets hang from the hooks from the canopy of the tents. Clockwork machines are strewn about on various workbenches, waiting to be wound up and let go. This is Pagwin Truecraft. People call her Piggy. She's a tinkerer gnome, female, of diminutive stature, very cute with bright red hair, often held up with long nails or screwdrivers. She wears a leather apron adorned with various tools. She's constantly covered in grease and soot. Her bearing, lawful good, conformist, and contented. Speech, soft, upbeat, and high-pitched, gnomish. I picked a Midwest sort of accent. Quirks, always adds a bit of powder to her drink, claiming it is a health tonic. Desires, to find diamonds and brass, which will bring her tinkering to a whole new level. Also, a proper building and workshop. Secrets, she made a clockwork horse once that was ransomed to an evil warlord to get back her kidnapped brother. So that's how I have most of it laid out. And so let me just rattle off the rest of the businesses so that you know all the different things that I have included. The Silver Dragon Inn, ran by Stone Aleheart. The Cracked Pipe, which is a house of smoke, much like a piper's tavern, ran by Ashlyn Smokeweaver. Dragon's Blood Elixirs, Milberger Wolf. Tooth and Claw Tavern, Oswald Blackhoof. Guild Bunkhouse, Gray and Alvina. Towner's Livery and Stables, Aldous Towner. Butcher, Volley Bloodsong. Odds and Barrow, Provisioner, Griffo Hildew. Moonstone's House of Silver, a silversmith. Clovey Moonstone Dandle. The Treasure House, Loan and Bank, Brogan Sharplock. Skakakath and Briar's Occultorium, Skakakath and Briar. Sanctum of Reflection, Temple of the Gods, Ogma Silverring. Hakon's Forge, Hakon and Asa Hammerhand. Beyond the businesses and NPCs associated with them, I also have a handful of other NPCs. Torak, the Fenrir Warrior for hire. Agatha Blackheart, Witch for hire. Isadora Knott, Witch for hire. Kazmarkish, Wizard for hire. Estia Rigby, Witch for hire. Alda X, Gold Thief for hire. Frug Copperstring, Gnome Bard for hire. Yeah, there's a lot of witches there. I still have to flesh out a bunch of other characters. Then I went on to the guilds and organizations. We have the Order of the Silver Dragon, the Fermenters and Distillers Society of Distinguished Gentlefolk, the Lamplighters Guild, the Arcane Order of Anand, the Vermilion Order of Occultists, the Golden Dawn Merchants Conjunction, and the Bardic Band of Minstrels, Actors, Jugglers, Puppeteers, and Poets. Let me go through the Order of the Silver Dragon. Heraldic indication is orange and black checker with silver rampant dragon. A military order that has ancient roots in the worship of dragons, particularly the dragon Agranak. The order mainly deals in the affairs of keeping the peace of Castle Agranak and the surrounding area. Cuthbert Huxley is the order's leader. Second in command is the Marshal of Castle Agranak, Sorsha Luella. Rumors abound of dragon pacts and undead dragon clerics that are controlling the leaders, but this may only be the rumors of busybodies. I developed the 12 months of the year, which are done in 28-day cycles, with the first of the month starting on the new moon, or new moons in this case because there's 3 moons. So there's a total of 336 days in 1 year. My inspiration for this comes from the Karmikos box set for the World of Mystara. So the months are as follows: Snowstar, Brea's Bosom, Fairy Greeting, Ema's Tears, Lightbringer, Merry Meet, Dragon's Fire, Tola's Harvest, Leafletting, Vor's Harvest, Dita's Rest, and Skyvale. The days of the week are named after the gods: Alora Day, Tarna Day, Ordonia Day, Gorthan Day, Brea Day, Vekel Day, and Drea Day. I also came up with currency names for the different pieces of coinage. Crescent Moon, which is a platinum piece. Gold Rod, is a gold piece. A Claw, electrum piece. Silver Dragoon, silver piece. A Coffin is a copper piece. I wanted to discover the adventuring area along with my players, which I think is part of the fun of a West Marches style game. No plot. There could be later on, but no initial plot. Just a basic framework for what type of terrain and just a few notes of different ancient civilizations that would be baked into the landscape. Ancient dragon-worshipping civilizations, snake cults, crazed wizard societies, and a plethora of orcs, goblins, undead, and necromancers that, for now, to me, is good enough. Next are the tables, but first I have to show you the main adventuring map. As we go along, I will draw in what we discover on each one of these hexes. My terrain type table does not go from one end of the spectrum to the next. I kept it pretty narrow for what I have envisioned for this area. So I roll a 2d6 for the terrain type once we enter the hex. And it goes from a lone mountain or volcano, a hill, forest, which is overgrown, normal forest, forest that is a clearing, water, marsh, or fungal. And most of the time it's going to be right in that center spot. That's how the bell curve works on a 2d6. I have some hazard charts for overland as well as dungeon hazards, inspired by Necropraxis. Next we have a feature table. Roll a d12, find out what's in there, completely random, no bell curve. Ruins and relics, lurid lairs, rivers and roads, castles and shrines, community, dolmen, standing stones, graveyard. Next I have my initial random encounter tables for level 1 through 3. These are based upon the different terrain types. I got this table layout from Baron de Rop over at Dungeon Masterpiece. Links to videos and different products are going to be down in the dungeon. But this is a brilliant way to lay out your random tables. It goes by encounter, behavior, and complication. My first one's actually a 3d8 because I have that just expanded. I had more things that I wanted in there. But most of these are 3d6. So picking one here, let's do mountain, roll 3d6. And what's great is that it mixes up what these are. Like initially, I think about, for instance, stone giant patrolling. Complication is a broken bone. Whether it's that person's, maybe it's his weapon that broke, maybe it's a broken bone of someone else. You're filling in the blank here. But once you do that initial, what's great is that as you roll the 3d6, you gain these really random and interesting things. I will go ahead and roll right here randomly. And so I got a stone giant, number 1, and then 5 is singing, that's his behavior, and then 4, cannot be surprised. So no sneaking up on this stone giant. Let me roll on the hill chart. Go ahead. It's a number 1, which is an orc. 6, patrolling. And 5, hunted. That is the complication. This orc is being hunted, but also patrolling. So that could be a very interesting thing that you have to work out as a dungeon master on the fly. These tables are great and come up with really interesting things already baked into it. It's really awesome. Next, I have some weather tables to come up with. I have some basic notes for that, but that's next on my list. We've already played our 0.5 session, and the characters have entered into town. And they ended up first at the Silver Dragon Inn and had a nice little encounter there. And so next week, I can't wait to see what happens. Really excited. By the way, all these charts and graphs and things that I'm developing, I'm posting on Patreon as I have them available. So you can get them there if you're interested. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.
This video was brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron so you can help us make more content like this. Or get yourself a t-shirt below. Later. Alright, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.